Okay, we're live on Facebook, and it's Tuskegee's homecoming.
All right, happy homecoming.
Happy homecoming, Tuskegee. Can't be there this weekend. We gotta make plans to go next year.
Absolutely, I would love to.
What do you remember about your first homecoming at Tuskegee?
I was blown away.
Really?
I was blown away. The experience all within itself, it was just mind blowing because, here I am, this young lady that's coming from the north side of Minnesota, Minneapolis. And my first time I've ever been outside of this area was to go straight to Tuskegee. And, back in those days, you really didn't have, I didn't have an opportunity to go visit the school before I went. So when I went to Tuskegee,
wait a minute.
I was there.
Hold on, time out. You never visited the school?
Absolutely not. No. When I stepped foot on the campus, that was it. And my parents dropped me off and kept it moving. So.
Okay. So bring us up to speed now, because I'm learning stuff about the story I didn't know. Or we just never talked about the fact that you never visited.
No.
Wow.
Never did a campus visit.
So we're the same.
Never did a campus visit. My counselor in high school, that was his alma mater, and he said, "You're going to Tuskegee." And I said, "Where?" And he had me
Mr. Cooley, or what was his name?
Fletcher Cooley.
Yeah.
And he had me fill out the application, and I did, and I got accepted, and
so
that was it.
So you went to Tuskegee as opposed to going where?
My other application was to St. Cloud.
Those were the only two schools?
Those are the only two schools I applied to. And I got accepted to both.
I applied to North Carolina A&T. I applied to Cheney. I applied to Cornell. I applied to Hamilton. I applied to Colgate. I was like, I had to do the New York thing, apply to all the schools there.
Well, first of all, each and every application costs money, so I wasn't doing that.
I was that hardship, brother.
I wasn't doing that.
I was filling out that hardship.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's it.
Now they have it where you can fill out one application and tell who you want to go to. All we didn't have all that.
Look, these kids don't know how good they are.
Man, every application costs, so I applied.
So we don't want to talk about what your life would have been had you stayed in the state to go to college. No, we don't want to talk about. So, Mr. Cooley at North High School said, "You're going to Tuskegee." Okay.
Yes. So when I got there, I was just in awe of the entire atmosphere and, just, of course, the freedom of,
being away from your parents.
Right. And all of that. And then homecoming. Oh my God. Like Mr. and Mrs. Freshman and the homecoming king and queen, and
how about the whole week,
the pomp and circumstance. And I was a part of the university choir, so our role in all of that, and the alumni. And then we had every Sunday of homecoming, they have the alumni that process in holding banners of what year they graduated. And just all of that just fascinated me to no end. I loved it.
So your first homecoming, who did you hang with? Or did you just kind of alone or do it by yourself?
Girlfriends from my dorm and choir members.
Okay.
Those were my people.
Dorms. Even naming them dorms.
Oh, I lived in James Hall at the time.
Oh, you lived in Ghetto Hall.
Well,
it was falling apart back then.
It was better than OD.
OD had air conditioning.
Well,
at the time,
it wasn't 500 people in one dorm either. It was James Hall was maybe like less than 100.
Okay.
Less than 100 people. So smaller dorm.
Was the water running?
The water was running. But you're right. We did not have air conditioning, but neither did I growing up. So that wasn't. But the heat was,
the heat was different.
It was different down
south.
How
did you adjust to Alabama heat, Alabama roaches?
I never did.
Alabama red
You don't adjust. You just go to school. You just handle your business. You go to the School of Engineering. You hang out there until you can't hang out there any longer because that was air conditioned, and then you go back to your dorm. So
did you do crab week? Freshman orientation?
Did.
What was that like?
Absolutely a blast.
Really?
That was a blast.
So I was supposed to be at freshman orientation, but I was hanging out on Fisk University's campus with my cousins. They were alphas, and we were hanging out because they were like, "Man, your crab week going on, but you need to hang out with us," because they were trying to talk me into going to Fisk University.
Yeah.
So I missed all the crab week. So when I arrived,
crab week was bomb.
Yeah, because when I arrived at Tuskegee, I didn't know my way around. I didn't know where I was going.
Yeah.
So how did you do were you a part of the freshman talent show?
I was not. I was
What?
too scared. I was too scared.
What?
Well, because anybody that knows me, I was a dancer most of my life. I didn't start singing until I got to Tuskegee University. So I didn't want to sing. So I didn't want to get up and do something like that. But I was there. I enjoyed the whole talent show, all the impromptu steps.
I think I would have found you during Crab Week. I would have found you. I would have been like,
all the impromptu step shows on the yard. All that was just, and the parade, and then of course the football game. All of that was just, it just blew my mind because I had never experienced anything like that. Ever.
Yeah, it is amazing, just the camaraderie and the way people just came together. You met someone one day, y'all were all hugs the next day.
Absolutely.
And everyone was getting along.
Absolutely.
And everyone was after one thing. And Tuskegee had a spirit about it, a oneness, a drive that was just, I didn't feel that at Fisk. When I went to visit Fisk. I didn't feel that. Matter of fact, I didn't feel that at any college campus that I went to until I came to Tuskegee.
Wow.
So you're in James Hall, and your parents get in their station wagon and they drive away.
Yep.
What do you do?
I rejoiced. I rejoiced because I was at a place where I accomplished that. I worked hard and I made that happen, and I got the scholarships to go. And I had so many scholarships going into Tuskegee that I had a refund check that year. I mean, so, and you all who are HBCU, you know what it means to get a refund check. You know what that means. You know that's a happy day,
That's
so
day.
I worked hard and I did it, and was in the School of Engineering. I was undecided in the School of Engineering, but I was there and I enjoyed it. It was so much fun.
So you get there, College of Engineering, such a, not only a beautiful college on the campus or in the university system, but it's an imposing, like intimidating.
It is.
You've got General Chappie James fighter
flight
right there
in front of the building.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what was it like when you first walked into the College of Engineering?
Again, mind blowing.
The professors were,
everything was just the prestige of the campus itself, and I think when I share this with anybody about going to Tuskegee, one of the things that just really stood out for me from the very beginning was the very fact that there's a section that still has the brick pavers in the road. And to me, it was from the onset of when Booker T. Washington students began to build the university or institute at the time. They laid those bricks, and I was walking on those bricks like 100 years later. Yeah. And just, to me, that just sealed the deal for me as far as why I was there, what I was experiencing. And though I did not graduate from Tuskegee, no one can ever take that experience away from me. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity, just to be able to experience that in my life, like I said, and that could never be removed from my life. So
now everything is registration online.
Oh my gosh.
So now let's get to registering by waiting in line, getting those cards to stand in line. But you end up in the university choir. Why?
Well, because I was sitting up in the stands in Logan Hall waiting for my
so that was in Logan Hall? Or was that in Chappie James?
Logan Hall.
Ooh,
Logan Hall.
No air conditioning.
Logan Hall, okay? I didn't stutter when I said that.
Logan Hall is the old gymnasium. And so people have to understand. So you had to stand in line and you had to register for each class, and you got a card and you had to wait to be called, and you stood in line, and hopefully by the time you got there, your class was not closed or filled. And so you had several thousand people sitting in a basketball stadium, with all competing for the same classes.
So I'm up on the second tier balcony waiting for my turn to go down, and I kept seeing people walk away with all these classes that I was needing, and I saw that the university, the Golden Voices University Choir table, there was nobody standing there. There was nobody in line. And so I said,
What'd you say?
I said, maybe if I go down and stand at that table, it'll give me an opportunity to go to some of them other tables, and it'd be my opportunity just to get down on the floor.
Correct.
So I went down there and signed up for
University choir.
Yeah, got my card, and we met every single day, 5 days a week, and then we sang at chapel on Sunday. So we were a family. We became an instant family because that's
give a KO.
Because KO
okay.
to all my golden voices.
Yeah.
KO, love you. And so we became a family, and so we have to explain what that means. Yeah. Okay, so William L. Dawson was one of the writers.
Levi.
Yeah, was one of the writers of a lot of the music that we sang at the university choir. And one of his songs was in his KO or in his KO, but it's in his KO because, he wrote a lot of the songs in the vernacular of the Negro spirituals. So
right.
We didn't always pronounce all of our words is Zicko saw the will.
Yeah, it's
Zicko, and you better say it just like that. So
Big Real One by Faith.
So his song was in his KO. So we adopted that as kind of a cat call to each other, so we could be all the way across the yard and we could say KO, and you would know that it was another university student that was greeting you. So KO to all my golden voices. But yeah, so I went down there, got in the choir. We became a family. I was in the university choir until we left Tuskegee. And so I enjoyed that.
You had quite an experience. You were in university choir. You were a mechanical engineer major.
I decided mechanical after about a year.
Okay, so let me clear a few things so she don't hit me. And you almost became a dancer on the...
A piper?
A piperette.
A piperette?
She almost became a piperette.
I never almost. I went to the meeting. I went to the Greek meet because I was interested. Because like I said, I did tap, ballet, and jazz for 4 years before I went.
You can still move, girl. You can still move.
I danced.
You can still move, girl. Still move.
I was in high school. I was a piperette. I was a polarette, and I was going out to be a piperette. But at the very first meeting, the director said, I just want to say, disclaimer here, if your thighs is as big as mine, you don't need to be in this meeting. I said, okay, well, we're not going to be in this meeting because I think my thighs is about as big as yours.
But the funny thing about it, because us men, we looked at the piperettes.
Yeah.
I said us men did. And there was some piperettes that was bigger than she was.
Probably after she was not the director anymore, because when she was the director, she wasn't letting that happen.
But
anyway, but you know what? I believe that my path was directed to what I needed to do.
I actually would have loved to have seen you in the piperette.
I believe that God already had his hand on my life.
In them onesies.
I believe that my path was already directed. So
I would have found you anyway.
Yeah.
So this was mind-boggling. So let's take your first semester. You come home for Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
And how do you explain the Tuskegee experience?
My parents already knew. I called them every day at 4:00 on Sundays because, back then you had pay for long distance.
Right.
So I could call collect. They'll accept. But that'd be Sunday at 4:00. That's the best rates that you can get. And so I was telling them the whole time I was there how much I was loving it. And my mom was actually shocked. She was shocked that I was loving it because, like I said, I had never traveled outside of the Midwest my whole life.
Would you say that when you got to Tuskegee, all the friends you still had to this day, all of the people we have met that are doing great things around the world, and we shout out to all Tuskegee University friends and loved ones, family for life. Would you say when you got there, it was almost as if you met yourself?
Oh, you always do. You always meet yourself in college. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like the excitement was, it's okay to be Black and a nerd, Black and intelligent, Black and speak proper. It was just, to me, I was just like, I'm home.
Yeah.
My
Yep.
people.
But not only that, but just to see students that were, prospering and were intelligent and were top of their class and were valedictorians and from all over the world, and to be able to come together under one hub called college, and to be able to get along and to learn of each other. I mean, that blew my mind as well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes your view can be skewed when you're in a little bubble of, this is all I know. These are the only type of people that I know. So when you go and you're in a melting pot, if you will,
but who would ever thought
everywhere?
Who would ever thought that we would run into a black melting pot? Black people from all walks of life, from the Caribbean, from the UK, from Africa, from Canada, from the uttermost parts of the world, who had come to Tuskegee to study plant soil science, veterinary science, political science, architecture.
Absolutely.
And we all were like brothers and sisters, with or without the fraternity, or auxiliary benefits, should I say. Could you say that your days at Tuskegee were some of your best days?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, no one will ever be able to take that experience away from me. And I am grateful that I pressed and went, and, because my family just couldn't understand why I chose a place so far away. First of all, I didn't choose it. It was kind of chosen for me. But I'm grateful that even God used Fletcher Cooley to push me in that direction, because I would have never known to even go that way. So
right. So would you say that Tuskegee was instrumental in helping you expand your possibilities?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we got Allison and Pastor Timothy Ward, Bishop Timothy Ward in there. What's up?
Yes.
They're in Grenada.
And we met him in Tuskegee.
Yeah, we met him in Tuskegee.
And happy anniversary again to you all. 30 years.
Right. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary. Love you guys.
Yeah, 30 years. Congrats.
Yeah. So Tuskegee expanded you. It opened your eyes.
Absolutely.
And it caused you to, how would you say the Tuskegee experience affected the way you raised your children to be educated and have that kind of greater worldview?
Well, it was never a thought or a question whether my children would matriculate to higher education. We always kept that at the forefront. And based on the fact that we had that experience ourselves, that we both went to college, that wasn't even a question for them. And so I think that we always kind of kept that as a conversation on the table in front of them, and one that they can aspire to. Now my children have surpassed me educationally, and I'm glad about it. I push them and I encourage them to be better than me and to go further than me and to do better than me. And so, but they have that because we've always kept that atmosphere in the house.
Yeah, I could say the same, that going to college and doing well educationally, expanding their worldview became the norm.
Absolutely.
So by the time they even got to high school, they didn't need a counselor talking to them about what school they're going to.
Or what were they going to do next with their life. It was already
mapped out.
Yeah.
Wow. You have an exciting story. And
so do you.
Well, no, I'm enjoying yours. I really am enjoying yours. No, really, we have an exciting story, because then one day we met. And I was at a crossroads of my life at that point, because one thing that all the great things that we've done at Tuskegee, all the great people we've met at Tuskegee, and I love you all, miss you all. One of the things that was real deep to me was Tuskegee actually helped me find me. And the classroom helped define me. It wasn't just a classroom. It was all those debates we did at Residence Hall C, which is now called Benjamin Banneker Hall. Just debates up on the third floor. I was in room 307. And of course, the fraternity life, some of the greatest friends and guys that I had ever encountered Gamma Phi chapter of Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, those guys were just, they were like more than brothers. Even to this day, they were just really, really close to me, really respectful and honorable. And one thing I can say about these brothers, we got on each other's nerves unto success. Because when I look at where all of them have gone, all of my friends, I could talk about T. Scott. We could talk about David Brooks. We could talk about, Damon Mosley, Darren Mosley. And even Aubrey, and his wife right here in the Twin Cities, Aubrey Johnson.
Yes.
When you look at where these guys have gone, and I remember the battles in our meetings. I remember, the confrontations with guys like Kenneth Poole and, when you, even Marshall Brown, when you think about all of these men that we sharpened one another. And when I look at the horizon and I look at, Kennedy Oates and others that I could name, I could go on and on. They're doing great exploits in the earth.
Proud of you guys.
So when people, the Tuskegee experience is like no other. And let me say this to some folk. Let me get a little closer here. If you're thinking about sending your children to a college, and if they can handle being away, I want to add that they can handle being away, send them to Tuskegee. They will have an experience out of this world. They're going to get a great, stellar education in an uncompromising, academically challenging environment with a tone of love, because Tuskegee is just a loving place under great leadership. I mean, Dr. Charlotte P. Morris right now, she was the executive assistant to Dr. Payton when we were there.
Oh, wow.
And now she is the president, and she's
excellent.
She's doing it. You hear me? She is doing it. So Cinda Catchings is there. What's up, Cinda?
Hey, Cinda.
And it's like, send your kids to Tuskegee. And we got to say that to Bishop Warren. Will you tell Bishop Warren?
Send your kids to Tuskegee. Him and his wife know what that means.
Send your kids to Tuskegee. Well, for me, and I was enjoying listening to you. For me, the Tuskegee experience is unforgettable. It is non-regrettable. It's unregrettable.
Right.
It is incredible. And it is, I look at my degree diploma covers there. Got one more to go.
Yes.
I'm looking at the first one, Tuskegee University, prepared me to face the world. And it's where I found my wife. I found my wife at Tuskegee. Beyond the normal story that we, tell all of the time of how we met at the Tuskegee Morehouse basketball game. I don't even remember. Did we win?
I have no idea.
I did. No, I mean, the game, meeting you, what was it like for you to meet a guy that just made you go, wow? Because you made me go, wow. And you still make me go, oh, yeah. Don't be touching me under the table. Listen, what was it like to go to college and meet someone you're going to spend the rest of your life with?
It was exciting. Like I said, I was experiencing life for the first time at a place like that. And so to meet you, although I was not anticipating it going all the way to marriage.
What you wanted it to go?
I was just enjoying meeting you, enjoying spending time with you. And this brother here went straight to, I want you to be my wife. I said, huh?
Hold on. I said, I want you to be my wife. What'd you say?
Huh?
Okay, but what did you want me to do? Like graduate and be like, holla, hey, it was great.
No. I'm just saying, I didn't know. Like I said, I was experiencing life as we were going along, but I'm grateful. I'm so happy that we found each other. Like I said, I believe with all my heart that our lives were being led by God the whole time. So even when we weren't thinking about God at the time, his hand was still on our lives. So
Absolutely.
it was destined for us to be together, and we had so much in common, and we found those common things out about each other, and we just were blown away by how much we had in common, down to the point where my grandmother's name is Lucille and his grandmother's name is Bonsil. We were like, stop it. So, look, okay, that's just too much.
So Facebook, you about to hear a story I've never told her. So you know what? You know when I decided that I wanted a wife?
When?
After my first homecoming at Tuskegee. Because my first homecoming, I didn't know you. And I had already been to the Greek picnic in Philadelphia. Now, the Greek picnic is the homecoming, a pan-Hellenic homecoming, the so-called Divine Nine, all the fraternities and sororities converging on North Philly, for a weekend, for some longer than that. They come in during the week. And I still am in a tailspin when I think about it. I don't remember. I mean, I remember I never went to sleep. I never went to sleep that whole trip. I think I slept for about 2 hours, and it was just like crazy. So then when I experienced Tuskegee's homecoming, I was like, okay, this reminds me of the Greek picnic on a different level, different context, different environment. And I saw how many people was getting with people, and this one was getting with that one. But this is the thing that got me. Okay, you had all these people that came in from out of town, alumni, and they were all hooking up with people they should have hooked up with when they were at school. Oh. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so then, you had some that would come up to me like, who's this guy? They were like, oh, he's a new alpha on campus. And, he came, from New York. And I was like, hey, what's up? And some of my brothers was like, yo, man, so-and-so want to get with you. So I was like, nah, I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm good. Because you coming to homecoming and you just want to get with me these few days and then be gone, So then I was like, I need a wife. And from that day in my mind, I said, I want to be married.
All right.
I didn't know how it was going to happen or when it was going to happen, but I didn't want to spend another homecoming looking for somebody or soliciting, or because Tuskegee was what, 13-1, 13 guys to every 15 women to everyone. Now compound that with homecoming. It was a different situation. And down south, chocolate is in. That was another shocking thing for me.
It is.
That chocolate was in, because up in New York, you had to have curly hair. You had to look at the elder bars.
Oh my goodness.
You had to have that curly hair, and you had to be, high yellow. But down south, chocolate was in. So
very much so.
Absolutely. My name was Hershey. Anyway, so
we used to have T-shirts that say, the darker the berry, the
sweeter the juice.
I said, okay.
Okay. Yeah. So then when I met you, you're as beautiful today as you were then.
Oh, thank you.
Look at my baby.
Thank
Look
you.
At my baby. It was just beautiful then as you are now. And when we talked that day, your conversation was beautiful. Your inner person was beautiful to me. And now, even to this day, I wouldn't be here without you. I wouldn't make it without you. And I am so grateful that God blessed me to bypass every athletic opportunity I had when I came out of high school so that I could be there at the right place at the right time. A game I wasn't even going to go to. It was last minute. I was coming out of the cafeteria. I never forget. They was like, yo, man, you going to the game tonight? I'm like, what game? They said, oh, it's Tuskegee and Morehouse. Man, I'm going to see no Tuskegee Morehouse game. They were like, yo, Spellman Honeys is going to be there strong. I said,
not only that, but wasn't BET Sports or something there?
Yeah, and then BET was going to be there.
Yeah. So
then I was like, all right, I'll holler. I went back, washed my hair, put some fresh Dax grease in my hair. I did. And then I got my black Guess jeans on, got my black penny loafers, and I put on my purple button-down shirt, and I walked up in there, and I'm looking at Spelman, because Spelman Morehouse, they were like exclusively on the other side. But then you had some that were lingering, and I was like, okay. Because so what I did at first is I did a pass-through. I walked past the other side just to see what was going on. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, okay. So like, I'm going over here. I saw my frat brothers. So I went over there with my frat brothers, and I saw a couple of honeys, along the way. I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. This is going to be lit. And little did I know, it was the woman that was rows ahead of me that would be the woman I would spend the rest of my life with.
All right.
You are one beautiful woman.
Thank you.
So that's kind of our story.
Yeah.
It's our story. We got married a year and a half later, and we made the front page of the school newspaper. Remember that?
I do.
Made the front page of the school newspaper that we were married. People thought that we were crazy. But what happened after we got married? What started happening on campus?
Started to be a trend.
Started to be a trend. Everybody started getting married. And you know what was a good thing, though? To see that people who dated at Tuskegee got married
and still
stayed together. Oh, that is such a beautiful thing. So we give a shout out to all of them. I mean, just we would love to be there with you today, but we're here. We haven't even talked about the Tuskegee Gospel Ensemble. We can get into that at another time.
Sure. The
Political Science Club, the Pre-Law Society, as well as, what else were we involved in?
You were in Mr. New York.
I still am. What do you mean was? I still am. In the homecoming parade.
Yes, you were. I got pictures of that.
I had that Gumby haircut. Boom. Had it curled coming up top high. Bam. It was hot. It was hot. I was shocked when I got voted Mr. New York. I was shocked. But the New York Club was cool. It was great. It was just a great Tuskegee, thou pride of the swift growing South. We pay thee our homage today. Well, that's kind of our story at Tuskegee, and we appreciate you taking the time out to share this story with us. What do you want to say to Tuskegee alumni that are watching?
Have a blast. Enjoy this weekend. Wish we could be there with you. Shout out to all of our friends that we met throughout our journey there. Keep in touch, stay in touch, and we miss all of you, and happy homecoming.
Happy homecoming. And, I think it's about time that we started Tuskegee, Minnesota Alumni Club. You think?
It doesn't exist?
Doesn't exist, but the last time I looked at the directory, we have over 100 Tuskegee alumni.
Oh, wow. I'm shocked it doesn't exist.
In the state of Minnesota.
Wow. Yes, let's do something about that.
We got to make that happen. So maybe we can have an icebreaker. We raise money for students, and then we show up for HBCU days. We actually represent the school, and we go there and talk to students about it. Tuskegee is making such great strides in so many areas, and our rankings in the U.S. World News Report and all of the viable rankings of higher education, Tuskegee is climbing to the top.
Wow!
So we're in the top 5.
Excellent.
Yeah, we're in the top 5. We're regionally the top. I mean, it's just the whole 9 yards. So we met at Tuskegee. We loved Tuskegee. We love the people of Tuskegee University. Just want to take time out just to shout out, say happy homecoming to all of you. And me and my lovely wife, we miss you. We love you. We got to show up for real.
Absolutely.
Because every year we allow something else to take precedence over. Because today I had a funeral it was a good funeral, but it was a community person, but I'm not the only preacher in town. Other people could do that. We got to make that pact.
Yeah.
So, maybe, I don't know. I don't know if Cinda's down there. Cinda, are you at homecoming right now? I know the Warrens, they're in Grenada. Did they invite us to Grenada with them?
Not this time.
Oh, not this time. Okay. It would have been a nice couples trip. Anyway, we love you all. Any last words for you?
No.
Okay. Thank you for your time. God bless you. Have a great day. We got to end with don't. Do 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 boom. Okay, we gotta go to the left. Ready? Come on. To the left. to the right, turn around, and up and down. Love y'all. Peace.